What is up, you guys? And today I am excited to finally bring to you the Hero Spotlight, and we will begin this series of videos with, of course, our little buddy here, Druid. Now, the reason I'm starting here with Druid is because Druid is one of the most important heroes in the game and one of the most wanted and must-have. Now, of course, no hero really is a must-have for anything, but every sort of hero has its niche and it's good for certain things or maybe all around. So we will begin today with Druid. Now, as you can see here, Druid, I'm really not even sure what Druid is. Now, I know, of course, that it's supposed to be a Druid, but the design, it's got like a little bird head or mask or whatever that might be, and it's got this little pendant. So he looks like a bird in a way. He or she, I'm pretty sure it's a he though. But essentially, here's basically how we're going to be starting out. The first thing that I want to be talking about is how is Druid obtainable? Now, of course, Druid is a legendary hero, so there's a few ways that you can go about that. As far as the ways that you can obtain them, of course, by hiring with gems, rolling with gems. You might get lucky and roll Druid if you're just rolling gems or whatnot. You can also hire him with shards, and he costs 1,800. A few, maybe like a month or so ago, that was basically the hero that you wanted to farm before any other hero. Period. Was Druid. The first 1,800 shards that you would get will go towards getting your first Druid. Now, that did change a bit because you can also receive a Druid by the daily reward, the daily calendar. Once you have logged in, I believe, for 30 days, you receive Druid. So you no longer have to farm necessarily for Druid. You get him for free, but it does take 30 days. So, you got to think, do you really want to wait 30 days? Do you maybe want to try to roll for him? Or can you get enough shards to where you can get him much earlier than those 30 days? So it's up to you really about how you can go ahead and get Druid, but essentially you will have a Druid after 30 days of playing. So that's always a good thing to know, that you will have something specifically. So now, a lot of people just wait the 30 days, unless, of course, you already have the Druid, but I would suggest just waiting the 30 days if you don't buy gems to roll for heroes or whatnot, or, if you're starting out on a new account, shards is not the easiest thing to come by in a large amount anyways. So I would definitely recommend that, but just know that there are other options out there for you. Now, as far as is Druid worth farming or rolling for? I don't believe that he's worth it anymore. He definitely was before the daily rewards. But he is still one of the best heroes in Castle Clash and one of the must-have for things like Kirby monsters and raids, etc. Now, he's not something that you have to have, but it definitely makes your life so much simpler. It's just very good to have in your team. Now, as far as the good things about Druid, well, first and foremost, he is one of two legendary healers in the game. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Druid is the only legendary healer, but no, he's actually not. Cupid is actually considered a healer himself, but he doesn't heal, so it's a little weird. But he's considered also a healer. But Druid is the one that actually does the only healing throughout the legendary, as far as healing you and your teammates as well. If you want a healer, Druid is where it's at. Now, the way that he heals is of course, with his skill, which is energetic, that restores the HP of your allies by a certain percentage, depending on how high you have the skill. So definitely, if you only have the 5 hero bases, you only need it to get to 4 of 9. If you have the extra hero base, then you definitely want to have that at 5 of 9, because of course you want to have all of your heroes receiving a heal. Now, the thing that a lot of people do overlook a lot of the time with Druid is that energetic doesn't just heal; it actually does buff the attack of Druid and his allies. So if you look at mine here, it's only 4 of 9, and you see here that it increases the attack by 230%. That's what he heals for, I'm sorry. and it increases the attack by 25%. So that is going to go to all of your heroes, and that means that all of your heroes are going to be attacking higher by 25%. And let me see if I can find a way to show it, because that proc actually does have an animation, and you can actually tell when it is that he does it. So let me just see if I can find. Let me. Okay, let's try this. Let's see. I'm gonna find the base here. Yeah, I don't care about my shield. Here's a good one. Alright, so if you take a look at Druid, take a look at when he procs, and take a look at the circle that he has below him. There he goes. Now you see that? That is basically telling you that he has that attack buff. Now you see that? There it is. That's basically telling you that he has that attack buff. So whenever you have your heroes walking around with that circle underneath them and that little shine underneath their feet, that's basically what it means, is that they got that attack boost by Druid, and of course that they did get healed by Druid, which you can actually see here with the little plus signs, the little red plus signs. Let's take a closer look, that way you guys can see it. Once he procs, he starts healing, has like a little plus signs. There you go. So a lot of people don't notice that because there's a lot of things going on usually. But yeah, that is basically a good way to find out that Druid did buff you or your heroes. So definitely always look at that because that is very important. It's definitely a good buff and a very overlooked one, if you ask me. Now, as far as the talent on Druid, there are a few talents that are very good on Druid, and there are a few ones that are not so good on Druid. But the good thing about Druid really is that Druid is effective and good no matter the talent. There are some heroes that are only really good and really only shine if they have a specific talent, but not so much Druid. Now, one of the talents that do stand out with Druid is, of course, Berserk, because the faster he attacks, the faster that he's going to be healing. And of course, if you are into the boss, then like me right here, you would want to have a heavy blow on him. Now, of course, there are other talents that would be great, like War God, Revitalize, and talents that reduce any sort of incoming damage, because Druid a lot of the time, if you're doing a lower tier boss, etc., is used for tanking. So that's always definitely appreciated, like a tenacity, etc. But again, that just goes back to my original point, is that Druid really operates with any sort of talent. Now, if you can get one like Berserk or Heavy Blow, etc., that will make it much better, but it's really not a necessity on a kind of hero like this. Now, as far as the priority of leveling up Druid, I see a lot of times when people talk about who should I level up next, who should I unlock next, what hero should I invest my HP on, because of course HP is very limited to a lot of the players, so they don't want to make a mistake. As far as Druid, he is arguably one of the best heroes that you can level up at any time. If you have a Druid that is locked, it is never wrong for you to unlock them and go to the next level, unless you have like another Druid that is just far superior that you might have just rolled or something like that. Druid is one of the main priorities that you should have when you're thinking about unlocking a hero. Why, you might say? Well, there's a few different reasons. Once you unlock a hero, he gets more HP. Now, we go back to saying that Druid is a good tank. Druid is not necessarily a good tank when it comes to HP or damage negation, but the thing that makes Druid a good tank is that the more incoming damage that he has, it fills up his bar faster, which means that he'll then heal faster. So that means that he can keep up more with the damage instead of having another hero that's not a tank taking all of that damage, and his heal rate would not increase. So that is the reason that a lot of people use Druid to tank on the boss, because every time the boss hits, it fills his bar faster, which makes him heal faster. Now, another reason is that the more attack damage that Druid has, the more that he'll be healing for. So the more your heroes are healed, the less chance that you'll have heroes dying or even Druid himself dying. So this is why he's one of the main priorities when you're thinking about upgrading a hero. Definitely think about your Druid before going into another one. Now, how important is it to have a Druid, and where is he good at? Well, the simple answer is that he's good at everything. Druid is good at raiding. He makes raiding so much easier, especially at lower mites. At higher mites, he's still very important. It might drop off a little bit as far as how important he really is, but he is still nonetheless important, and he makes everything just so much easier. So raiding, he is definitely one of the best heroes to have. Here be monsters. He's definitely one of the heroes, especially when you get to higher waves, that you definitely just have to have. If not, you're not gonna make it through. Arena, this is where he might drop off a little bit, because a lot of people might go with a DPS set or a straight on set, but still, you cannot overlook that not only does he heal, but remember that he does give that damage boost. So either way, Druid would have a place in the arena, especially if you have a higher level one with a good talent. So definitely keep that in mind. As far as the boss, he is one of the most used boss heroes in the game, period. A lot of times you might not need to use a Druid because you might have like a stun lock going that the boss never gets to you, so you might not need any sort of healing. But again, it goes back to that attack boost. You got to remember that attack boost would boost your entire team. So even though he might not do the same amount of damage that another hero would, he would be boosting your whole team. So collectively, he might put you over the top as well. So in boss, another thing that Druid will be good for. So all in all, really, Druid is a great hero to have in every asset of the game. There is not one thing that Druid does not do well. Now, as far as the actual bad things about Druid, is that he is a ranged hero, which is good and bad. The reason I say this is because ranged heroes, they're good because they can hit from afar and usually take things out without having any sort of high aggro on them. And when I say aggro, I mean monsters coming to attack them. But the bad thing is that a lot of the early on heroes or legendary heroes are not ranged. So what happens is that when you go on a raid and you drop Druid along with your other heroes, Druid might decide to go in his own little path the other way. Now, it's not really Druid's fault, it's just the way that the AI is set up. The AI is set up to where they always attack the closest target that they can actually attack. So if a melee hero has 3 walls in front of them and they have a camp next to them on the right, and Druid has something on the left that he can actually shoot over the walls, Druid is going to stay there while the heroes are going to walk away. And then that's going to happen is it's going to split your heroes up. Now, there are a lot of ways that you can go about that to make sure that that doesn't happen, but the average player really doesn't know that much or haven't rated enough to know that. So they get pissed at Druid because Druid goes its own way, and that even when you know exactly how the mechanics work, that sometimes can still happen. So when it does happen, it's definitely frustrating. Trust me, I've been there. But nonetheless, having Druid and even better knowing how he works and how he targets things will make your life so much easier in raiding. But that's really it as far as the negative about Druid. Other than that, really, Druid doesn't really have much of a negative. He's not the fastest hero, but he's definitely not the slowest. So he'll keep up with your raiding group. And like I said, Druid's one of the most have heroes in the game. There are more important heroes when it comes to other assets of the game, but overall, Druid is one of the most important ones. So this is it for this video, guys. If you have any questions regarding Druid, if you have any suggestions regarding what else you'd want me to cover in these hero spotlights, definitely leave a comment, leave any sort of feedback, and I will definitely get back to you guys and see what I can do in the future videos to make them even better. Okay, so if you enjoy the video, if you want to see more regarding more heroes, then definitely leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll be putting out more videos for you guys. Okay, now until later, guys. Bye.